Hello everyone, David Jacobs, your friendly neighborhood voice actor from davidjacobsvoiceover.com. I have an acting tip for you today, acting and voiceover. So it's very tempting when you look at a script to start to think about how you're going to do it, how you're going to say the words. This little phrase, this little tagline, how am I going to say it? And you will immediately start thinking in your head of the various ways you can do it. You don't want to do this. It's totally natural, and I did it too, but you don't want to do this, really. What I've learned from all my traditional acting classes and experience is what you really want to focus on is the character. Who are you? Why are you saying what you're saying? Who you're talking to in the first place, and what's your point of view. Those are the important things. Who am I? Who am I talking to? Why am I talking to these people? Why do I care about this thing? And what's my point of view on it? Those are the really critical things to think about. What's the emotion here? What's the subtext? That's super important. What is the subtext? What's being said that's not being said? That will take a little bit of discovery, but that's super important. There's always something that's being said that's not being overtly said. And what's the mood? Is this happy? Is this fun? Is this serious? Is this empathetic? What is this exactly? Focus on all those things. If you've got the character locked down, the point of view, I know who I am. I know what this is. I get this. I know exactly who I am and what I'm saying and why I'm saying it. I feel like I got that super locked down. I got a real feel why I'm saying this and how I feel about it and who I am, what's going on here. The words will come out as they need to. You don't even need to worry about how you're going to say it. If you're locked on that character and you've made a choice about your point of view and what's going on, and you are living truthfully in the moment, if we want to go to acting terminology, right? Meisner, acting technique, living truthfully in imaginary circumstances. So if you are living truthfully in that moment, you'll say it the way it needs to be said, because you are that character in that moment, for real. Because in real life, we don't know how we're going to say anything. We just say what we're going to say. You think about how you're going to say something. You have a conversation, and it comes out the way it comes out. And it has a lot to do with how you're feeling. If you're feeling super excited or really nervous, that's going to affect how you say it. Because that's the way you are in that moment, not because you thought about it. So know how you need to be in the moment, and the words will come out the way they need to come out. They will come out correctly. And you don't even need to really think much about that. Focus on what's going on. Don't worry about how you're going to say it. And you know what? How you might say it in take 2 or 3 are probably going to differ. Because we're not robots. We don't say the same thing the exact same way each time. But that's good, because that means you're not being a robot. You're not telegraphing. You're not being AI. How much can AI vary its reads? Can it really give you a very subtle difference in a couple of takes? Can it do that? Because that takes real acting, making the second or third take different, but in a very subtle, small way. This is why the best defense against artificial intelligence in voice acting is acting. Up your acting game, and you'll, I think, probably be able to stay ahead of the AI curve. So, one of the ways to up your acting game is to A, get into a class. an in-person traditional acting class. There's just nothing like it. You'll learn improvisation, which is a big part. And these traditional acting classes about how do you really, it's one thing to say, who are you? What's your character? That's not exactly an easy question. When I first was dealing with this, I don't know. How am I supposed to know? I have no idea. How am I supposed to know who I am? How do I figure that out? How do I decide? It was not that easy just to say, oh, just figure out who you are. In all the acting classes I've taken and all the practice going every single week for over a year, I'm starting to get a pretty good idea of what that means. To say, who are you and what's the situation and who you're talking to and what's your point of view. I'm starting to get a real feel for what that means and how to do that. But I could have never done it just with intellectual knowledge. It takes practice and practice and practice and trying it and getting the right instruction. And it just takes time. But I'm finally getting a real feel for that, which is exciting. Because now if someone says that, they don't even need to say it to me. I sort of do it by automatic now. That's the first thing I try to do, is lock in on those things and not worry about how I'm going to say it. And one of the most important things I learned from acting is, Meisner says to be truthful in imaginary circumstances. But you know what? If you are truly there, you've dropped in, as we say, to that character and that scene, you are so present and there, it's not even an imaginary circumstance anymore. You're being truthful in the circumstance. It's not imaginary anymore. It's real. And you're there. That's when acting gets great and when it gets exciting. When you are so there that you don't even perceive anything else. You may be in a class with 20 other people. They disappear. You're completely unaware that they're even there at all because you are in that scene. It is no longer an imaginary circumstance. It's a circumstance. And you're there. And everything else literally disappears. Man, if you can get there, and that ain't easy to do, that's when it gets good. Because that is reality for you. And that's when you're going to be completely authentic and completely real. And the last thing you are thinking about is, how am I saying this? How do I look? You're just there. And you're doing the thing. And that's, I think, the ultimate goal of acting. And translating the ultimate goal of voiceover. I'm going to tell you about this health insurance policy like I'm your friend and you're having trouble figuring out what to do. You're a little flustered about it, like, there's so many choices, I don't know what to do. Come on over, I'll go through it with you. I'm not doing an ad. I'm not doing anything. I'm just talking to my friend, helping him figure out how to deal with this health insurance thing. And Aetna, I happen to know, has these great plans and these great features. And if I can drop in and truly be in that moment where it's incredibly real, you're going to be totally authentic, totally believable. And that's what people want. So that's my acting tip for you. This ain't easy. Just this tip alone you're not gonna come away from this video going, I know what to do, I'm set. No, these are just the good ideas. Now it's gonna take you a very long time of practice. Get a good acting coach, go every week and practice and keep doing it. And after a while, it'll start to come to you. It'll feel weird and you won't be good at it. I sucked a lot. But it didn't matter. Just keep going, and you'll eventually not suck so much, and you'll eventually figure it out. And then one day you'll have a bad day and you'll suck, but then you'll figure it out again. Just keep going, just keep plugging, just keep trying. I never thought I could act. Not in a million years. But now I can. Just because I dedicated myself to it and I kept working and practicing at it. Why? Because I've got to be the best voice actor I can. That's the only way I'm going to get there. And so I just said, okay, let's do this. So if you haven't taken that step yet in your voice acting career and you're serious and you want to stay ahead of AI, get thee to an acting class. It's fun. I love it. I look forward to it every week. It is a lot of fun. The people are just tremendous. There is no judgment there. It's an incredibly beautiful, wonderful, creative, supportive place. And I think you'll love it. Thanks for being here. Catch you next time.